Welcome dear students. So today we are going to start our first class on physics portion of 10th standard science. So we are taking here the chapter light, reflection and refraction. So under this topic in today's class we will going to cover up following topics. First we will going to discuss about how do we able to see the objects. Second we will discuss about common phenomena of light. Third, it will be spherical mirrors, and lastly, we will going to discuss important terms related to mirrors. So, dear students, as we have common experience that whenever we are entering in a dark room, we are not able to see any object lying in that room. But as soon as we light up any light source, immediately we able to see the objects present inside that room. So now the question arises, what is the science behind this? Earlier we were not able to see the object, but as soon as we have lightened up, we are able to see the object. We are able to observe the object. So here the fact is that whenever we have lightened up any light source, so light has coming, so light is falling on those objects. After reflecting, the light is reaching to our eyes, and hence we are able to see the object. So as a conclusion, we can say reflection is the basic phenomena as a result of which we are able to see the various objects in a room where enough amount of light is present. So here we are going to discuss about common phenomena of light. So as we are knowing, there are various phenomena which we come across in our day-to-day life. So those are image formation by mirrors, image formation by lenses, twinkling of stars, beautiful colors of a rainbow, bending of light by a medium, sparkling of diamonds, colors formed on the thin oil films, colors formed in a soap bubbles, reddish appearance of sun while rising and setting, blue color of the sky, and so many other phenomena also. So these are the various phenomena which we usually come across in our day-to-day life. So many of these phenomena we will going to discuss in 10th standard itself, but rest of them we will going to discuss in higher classes, that is 12th standard. So first, the most basic phenomena is the reflection of light. So how we can understand? Since the name self-suggesting reflection. So for reflection of light to take place, what we require is any reflecting surface. So the simplest kind of reflecting surface we can have is a plane mirror. We can have a plane mirror. So I have taken a plane mirror. Now this is my incident light ray. This is what? Incident light ray. So whenever it is falling on the reflecting surface, in our case it is plane mirror, so it get reflected. It get reflected means it is getting bounced back in the same medium. So this I have drawn normal to the given surface. This is the surface plane mirror, and this is perpendicular to that. So we call here in optics as normal to the given surface. So now we will going to measure the angle. So the angle which this incident light ray is making with respect to normal to the given reflecting surface is given the name angle of incidence or incident angle. In the same way, the angle which reflected light ray is making with respect to normal to the given surface is known as angle of reflection or reflected angle. So we have two laws of reflection. These are important. So we have two laws of reflection. Whenever any kind of reflection is taking place, so it has to follow two certain rules or laws. So first law is what? The angle of incidence, that is this angle I. The angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. That is this angle I, it should be equal to angle R. So this is nothing but the first law of reflection, that during reflection of light, angle of incidence must be equal to angle of reflection. Second and important law of reflection is what? According to second law, the incident ray, this one is incident ray, the normal to the mirror, that is normal to the mirror, and the point of incidence is this point. This is the point of incidence, and the reflected ray, this one is the reflected ray, all lie in the same plane. That is how you can understand. Let I call, this is my incident ray, this is normal to the given surface, and this is point of incidence. I have taken all these things along a board or along a plane. So what does this second law of reflection confirms me? That if the incident ray normal to the given surface and the point of incidence, they are lying along this board or plane, then as per second law of reflection, this reflected light also, it has to reside on the same plane. It cannot come out from this plane. Neither it can go back side or nor it can come this fourth side. It has to reside on the same plane. That is, simply speaking, we can say the incident light ray normal to the given surface and reflected light ray, these all have to reside or present on the same plane. That is the second law of reflection. So simply speaking, first law is what? The angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, that is I should be equal to R. Second law of reflection is incident light ray normal to the given surface and reflected light ray, they must lie in the same plane. So these are the two important laws of reflection of light, and these laws of reflection, they are applicable to all types of reflecting surfaces including spherical mirrors. Like in our case we have taken what? Plane mirror, but also we may have spherical mirrors. But whenever reflection of light is taking place, we are very sure that this law of reflection should be held everywhere. So now formation of image by a plane mirror we will going to see. So we have taken a plane mirror as a reflecting surface. So here in plane mirror, this front surface, this one, this upward surface is reflecting in nature, while this backward is painted. So in this way we used to manufacture such type of plane mirror. So this one white one is the reflecting surface. So how the image will going to get formed? So for simplicity I have taken this arrow mark as an object. Now from this object, two light rays I have taken. So this first light ray, it is getting called here, it is incidenting here. The second one is striking here. So what will going to happen? So we have to take care of laws of reflection. So here the incident light ray, dear student, from this top of object this light ray is coming, it has to follow the laws of reflection. It has gone like this. As per the law of reflection, this angle I, this angle R will be always equal. In the same way, second light ray I have taken like this, it will going to strike here on this plane mirror. Again it has to follow the law of reflection, angle I must be equal to angle R. Now so as to form the image, what we require, that since this is the first reflected light ray, this is the second reflected light ray. So for image formation, we want that these two light rays, they should meet. So in our case, you just see from the diagram, we are very sure that this light ray and this light ray, they can never ever meet each other in this direction. They can never ever meet with each other in this direction. But for image formation, we want their meeting, their intersection. They should meet with each other. Whether they should actually meet or they should appear to meet. So what we can say, what we will going to do here, that we will going to extend these two reflected light ray in the backward direction. So this is my first reflected light ray. So I have extended this in backward direction. So that's why I have used this dotted line. This is not the actually the reflected light ray. We are just extending this in the backward direction, following the fact that light travels in a straight line. Similarly, this is second reflected light ray. So I have extended this in the backward direction. Now you see at this point, it is very clear that these two reflected light rays, they are appear to be meeting, as if they are meeting here. So So that's why this point we will see that it will be the point of image formation. So this is the image of this object we have taken, and we are getting the image like this. Now the important thing is properties of image found by a plane mirror. So we have different properties. First is image is always virtual and erect. See what we are taking here, image will be always, it will be virtual and erect. Second will be what, size of image will be equal to the size of object. Whatever is the size of object, it will be same as that of size of image only. Third will be image is as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. So at whatever distance you put the object in front of mirror, at the same distance on the back side of the mirror the image will going to get formed. Last property is what, image is laterally inverted. That is, lateral inversion means what, that the right portion of the object become left and vice versa. Right become left and left portion become right. So these are the important properties of image found by a plane mirror. So image will be always virtual, it will not be real, and it will be erect, that it will not be inverted. So size of image will be equal to size of object at whatever distance we are putting, at same distance but in back it will be getting formed, image will be laterally inverted. Now spherical mirrors. So after plane mirror we are going to study about spherical mirrors. So as the name suggesting, the mirrors whose reflecting surface are spherical, they are known as spherical mirrors. So under spherical mirrors we have two types of mirror. First is concave mirror, second is convex mirror. So from the diagram it will be very clear that concave mirror are what, whose reflecting this whitish surface is a reflecting surface, and this reddish surface, this is the painted surface. So concave mirror are what, a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inward. So reflecting surface is this whitish one, so this is curved inward, so they are called as concave mirror. In the same way here you see reflecting surface is what, this whitish one, so this is curved outward. Its painted surface is this one, but reflecting surface we have to focus. In both cases we have to see what, reflecting surface. So here in case of concave mirror, reflecting surface is curved inward, while in case of convex mirror this reflecting surface is curved outward. So the definition should be very clear. A spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inward, that is known as concave mirror, while a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outward is given the name convex mirror. So here this whitish surface, this is what, reflecting surface for both the cases, while this reddish one is painted one. Now we will going to study about certain terms which are very important for the study of concave and convex mirror, the image formation using them. So for that sake we will going to study important terms one by one. So here we have taken the concave mirror. So concave mirror means reflected surface should be curved inward. Convex mirror means reflecting surface should curve outward. So first term is what? First term here is pole. So pole is what? Pole is this point P. This I have taken concave mirror, this I have taken convex mirror. So this point P here, also here. So parallelly we will going to talk about concave mirror as well as convex mirror. So pole is what? First term is pole. It is represented by capital P. So pole is the center of reflecting surface lying on the surface itself. So this surface we have taken, and this middle point, that is center of this surface, is known as pole. It is represented by P. So here also this P is the midpoint or center of this whole reflecting surface, and it is known as pole. Second term is center of curvature. So center of curvature is what? Practically speaking, these spherical mirrors, they are manufactured in such a way that first of all we will have a big or say large glass sphere, then we will going to suitably cut them, grinding them, painted them. After that we will going to obtain concave mirror or convex mirror. So originally what we were having a big glass sphere. So the center of curvature is nothing but it is the center of that hypothetical sphere from which these mirrors have been manufactured. So how we can define this? Center of curvature is the center of imaginary sphere, because it is not practically present here, but the way how we have manufactured them, we are very sure that we have suitably cut them from a original big sphere. So center of curvature is what? It is the center of imaginary sphere from which spherical mirror is cut out. So this is known as what? Center of curvature. So this is as if this is the center of this whole sphere. Similarly, if we just complete this, so this C point will be what? It seems as if it is the center of this complete imaginary sphere. So center of curvature is the center of imaginary sphere from which spherical mirror is cut out. Now third is what? Radius of curvature. So radius of curvature simply means from the center to this pole. If we measure the distance or separation, so this will be equal to radius of curvature. In the same way, here also from P to C, this separation is known as radius of curvature. So radius of curvature, it is represented by capital R, is the distance between the pole and the center of curvature. So the separation between this C and P, here P and C, it is known as radius of curvature. Next is principal axis. So we have already discussed 2 points: pole represented by P, center of curvature represented by C, radius of curvature represented by R. So principal axis simply means what? It is the line which is passing through the pole and the center of curvature and extending to infinity. We can extend as per our requirement. So P point here, C point here. So whenever we draw any line which is passing through these 2 points P and C, and we can extend it to infinity. So this line is simply known as principal axis. So here PCX. What is PCX? It is known as principal axis. In the same way, here also P and C point. So we can draw a line. So it will be what? It will be a principal axis. So as per our requirement, we can extend the line up to infinity. So dear students, principal axis is simply the line passing through the pole and the center of curvature, and we can extend it to infinity. It is always normal to the mirror at the pole. So always it will be normal means perpendicular to the given mirror. Here as well as here it is perpendicular to the given mirror. Next term is what? Principal focus. So what is principal focus? Whenever light rays which are coming parallel with respect to principal axis, whenever light rays which are coming parallel with respect to principal axis, after reflection they will pass through a particular point. So all these rays which are coming parallel passing through a point, here also parallel with respect to principal axis passing through a particular point, here also coming parallel passing through particular point. In case of this convex mirror, coming parallel reflecting, but it appears that as if it is coming passing through a particular point. Similarly, it is falling parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it appears as if it has come from a particular point. So how we can define this principal focus? This is the important term represented by capital F. It is the point on the principal axis at which the incident rays of light parallel to the principal axis, the light rays which are parallel to the principal axis, either really pass through. Really means in case of concave mirror, they will actually going to pass through this point, or appear to pass through. Appear to pass through in case of convex mirror, because here they are not actually passing through this, but they are just appearing to pass through this point, pass through after getting reflected from the mirror. So principal focus is simply the point on the principal axis at which the incident rays of light parallel to the principal axis either actually pass through or appear to pass through after getting reflected from the mirror. So this point is known as principal focus. It is represented by capital F. Here also this is capital F. This is known as principal focus for the case of concave mirror. Here for the case of convex mirror it is here. Now if we simply measure the distance between this pole till this principal focus, the distance between pole and principal focus, so this distance, this much, here also from pole to principal focus, so this much distance we call it as focal length. What we call focal length. So focal length is next parameter. It is represented by small f. And how we define this? It is the distance between the pole and the principal focus. So focal length is simply the distance between pole and principal focus. So dear students, in case of concave mirror, this focus is lying this side, so that's why we have to measure the distance in the backward direction. Here in case of convex mirror, since the principal focus is lying on the right side forward direction, so that's why we will going to measure distance from P to F in the forward direction. So focal length is simply the distance between pole and the principal focus. So this way you can understand, whenever light rays, they will be falling, they are coming parallel with respect to principal axis. After reflection they will pass like this, and in case of concave mirror they actually pass through principal focus. In case of convex mirror they appear to pass through principal focus. So here we have to remember that radius of curvature is approximately twice the focal length. That is, this radius of curvature we have represented by capital R. It will be approximately equal to twice the amount of focal length. So R will be approximately equal to twice of focal length. Next is aperture. So what is the meaning of aperture? It is simply the diameter of the reflecting surface. Whatever reflecting surface we have taken, so aperture will be what? It is the diameter of the reflecting surface. But here no need to get confused. Note that it is not the diameter of the sphere from which the mirror is cut out. So that was what? So here you have to remember that aperture is the diameter of the reflecting surface. So in our case, from the previous diagram, just check Mn. This Mn separation is given the name aperture. So it is the diameter of the reflecting surface. It is not the diameter of sphere from which the mirror is cut out. I hope the covered topics are very clear to you. Thank you, students.